That should be it. Hello and welcome to another Inav chat with my friend Paweł Spychalski.
Yeah,
I butcher it every goddamn time.
every time. You have no. If you're not born in the Eastern Europe, then you have no chance of pronouncing this correctly. Just forget
I'm just gonna get you, and it's you. It's me. Yeah, the last time I did one of these, we had to take a bit of a break because we were waiting for you were busy, you've been away, and how's the little one? Is everyone all right?
Yeah, everything is more or less fine. It was a short accident.
Yeah. So I spoke to Andrew Newton, and we went through like a couple of models he likes and loads of different stuff, and I've got the wing over there, so we might go through a bit of setup stuff in a bit, and hopefully it won't like drive you crazy. But are you the lead developer of Inav now, or is it still?
No, I'm just one of the developers of Inav, and when talking about Inav, Inav is a collaboration of guys that share the same hobby. And there is the maintainer of the project, the owner of the name called Inav, and the guy who started all of this, Konstantin. And we are just like doing stuff we like to do. This is more or less how it goes.
I haven't spoken to Konstantin in a very long time, but I'm so glad to hear his name. And
yeah, he's all right. He's fine. Everything is fine with Konstantin.
Is he still very? Is he very active within the GitHub?
Probably slightly less active than a few years ago, but this is, let's say, normal flow in the open source projects. You start, then it grows, and then you kind of but there are others. I do not really have to. But no, he's there around and he's still developing.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. How have you been in general, like in these hard times?
Honestly, I'm kind of enjoying the coronavirus, to be honest.
Okay, that's one way of putting it.
Okay, I lost focus. Wait. Let's wait for the camera to. Oh, okay, and we have focus. No, this is sad, but actually very, very true, because thanks to the coronavirus, I do not have to go to the office, and the company I'm working for previously was very much no, you have to constantly work from the office because we would like to have you in the office. But then, since our offices are closed, I'm just like doing the same, but do not have to commute, travel there, go and waste time commuting. So life is actually pretty good. I only wish I had one room bigger apartment so I can isolate from everything around. But besides that, it's great. Sad, but from my perspective, it's kind of
right. So because I've spoke to you on obviously Let's Drone Out, which isn't the most serious of platforms, but we're trying our best. And
yeah, definitely not the most serious, but it's kind it's a good format. You can always call it a format.
Format, yeah. And it's always a good time on there. But and obviously you do your own live streams as well, and I pop in there. Hopefully one day I can become a moderator if I'm a good boy.
You just when I
post links,
just wave general in my direction. I will just click the button. No problem, mate.
I know, it was like you talking about stuff, and I'm like there posting links, and I'm like, you just
Oh, you cannot post links on other people's live streams. Google does not allow it. You cannot post links.
I was trying, you're like, where can you get Drac stuff? And I'm like, I know. So yeah, I always try and tune in. I
remember that one. Yeah.
I'm enjoying your live streams, man. Like yours and Bardwell's are the two people I kind of jump into.
Bardwell's definitely is much bigger, and I'm recently kind of lost interest in doing live streams. They are kind of time consuming, and this kind of collides sometimes with a private life. And this is summer, so probably you do not want to sit somewhere in the Saturday evening doing some strange stuff. So right now this thing is rather deprioritized. Probably will return on a slightly more regular basis during the autumn and the winter, but I'm trying to run one at least every 3 weeks, let's say. So you cannot even say it's very regular show.
No. But yeah, I mean it's very informative, and I think after a while you start answering the same questions over and over again. I've noticed, but it's very nice to have that like back and forth with you. So instead of doing the whole like, you know, how did you start getting into the hobby and stuff, of because we've already kind of covered that in other platforms, but I'm trying to jazz it up. So in 2014 you started, and you started in the hobby, is that right? Or
13 maybe even, yeah. I think no, 14, definitely 14. Yes, 14, maybe 15, something like that. So
yeah.
5, maybe even up to 6 years.
14 is what your blog said, basically.
14. Then 14. It's the internet accepts every kind of crap you write on it. So let's assume it's 14 after all.
Yep.
But yeah, that makes sense. 14.
So yeah, what was your first exposure into the hobby? Did you like see a video, or were you hanging out with friends, or?
To be honest, I don't really remember what was it. Probably just the drones were getting more and more popular somewhere, and I was like, maybe I should get me one of those, or maybe I saw the video. I don't remember which one. It was either a few guys racing on the track inside of in the forest with the lights on. Yeah, or one time, do not remember the timing date. Maybe it was left alone by by Sharpu. I don't remember which one, but one of those. I saw one of those and I was like, this is really pretty interesting. I definitely should get my hands on it. And this kind of like happened in the same period when I started to earn slightly more money, so I had some spares. I can, let's say, get a new hobby, and look what happened 5 years later.
Like, yeah, that's what happens. It's like balls deep into, yeah, you kind of, it sort of like snowballs out of control, doesn't it?
Yeah, the interesting part that right now, very often I even do not want to fly. I just go flying because I have to check something, or I have to do something. I have to write a review. So it's kind of migrating from the like a hobby to hobby, half-time job maybe. And when it's a half-time job, it's not really a hobby anymore. Well, definitely something in between.
I love how Zero put the link to that video in the chat. FPV racing crash season, like 4 million views. Crazy.
That one? Yes, definitely this one. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And okay. 2014, definitely that makes sense. Yeah, that was probably this video, because I think that the video by Sharp Left Alone was slightly later down the road. So it had to be this one. It was so amazing. Come on, you can do such a crap. And apparently, you can do such a stuff with the equipment.
I know the quads look fairly smooth in this. It's crazy because I remember like that Sharpoo one.
Times it's like amazing quality of flight. It's like. No, really, the quality like that, it really would be at least acceptable nowadays with all those stabilization and new beta flights and stuff like that. So really amazing job that they did back then. Yeah,
it's like really. I mean, it must have cost them a bomb, because back in the day, those props used to just explode. Like,
I remember those one, the 3-bladed GEM fans, 3 inches. So they were just amazing. You fly and everything goes down.
I've even got one on my desk. The buy GEM fans.
Yeah,
legit.
Those one were better. The 3-bladed were worse. They were thinner and they were just like exploding. The slightest contact with everything was just destroying them. It was, I don't know, remember 2015, maybe 16. One winter we were flying indoors in some big building, and I remember that in half an hour I destroyed 20 propellers. Oh, yeah, my younger
hello.
daughter. Yeah, hello. Bye
I
bye.
need to borrow her in a bit. I want. Can you get her to bring the guinea pig? Your guinea pig.
No, because she would have to go down up the stairs with the guinea pig. I can.
Oh no!
Wait a second. I can arrange the guinea pig.
The ginger one. That is so funny. So, if anyone follows Paweł on his,
Okay, I have the older daughter, so maybe she will bring the ginger one.
Yes. If anyone follows you on Instagram, there's lots of every now and then it's like quad stuff, blah blah blah, and then there's just cute guinea pigs.
Yeah, my. Okay.
Oh, it's really funny.
Okay, no, the guinea pigs are my older daughter, and they kind of really became a part of the family because the ginger one is really so sweet. It's incredible how this stupid bastard took the hearts of almost everyone in the family.
Oh man, are you gonna build like Peter Streeple? Guinea. You know he's got the guinea pig plane. I mean, don't fly it with the guinea pig in it. No. It'll be very funny to have that guinea pig running around.
Give me Cheshire. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So this is Chester, but nobody actually calls him Chester. He's Cheshire.
Cheshire. Oh.
Cheshire, yes, he's big and fat and very cuddly, and was kind of sick few weeks ago, so he's still recovering.
No.
Yeah.
He must be like so happy and comfortable, you guys, because usually like guinea pigs do the high pitched squeaking like they're gonna die, and this one's just quiet and chill. And
we have the other one, a few years younger than this one, and the second one is like no, absolute negation of this one. Is scared of everything, squeaks all the time, and runs away from you, while this one is okay. Pet me.
Oh man, you should just do the live stream with the guinea pig and just sit there like a Bond villain.
Yeah, the problem with guinea pigs is that they drop wherever they are, and after a few minutes you have to clean everything around you.
Oh.
Please let me take a short break.
No worries, buddy. I can
like a minute or something.
Yeah. I can hold the floor, guys. If you've got any questions with Inav or anything, just put them in the chat and we'll cover them later. There is a question platform, but if you're struggling with anything or
trzymaj go w dwóch rąk. Okay, guys, I have to 1 minute. I have to
go. It's fine. It's totally fine. Okay. It's fine. I might even have a call back from the doctors as well, so I might have to mute myself, and have Paweł field some questions whilst waiting for stuff. But how you guys doing anyway? Hello Zero, nice to see you in the chat. Hello Lurgy. Clive,
okay.
Thanks for
I'm coming back.
Being the first person. Numbskull's here as well. There's a couple other people watching as well.
Oh, it's so bloody hot at this attic.
Buddy.
It's 5 degrees warmer down than downstairs, and even though I have the fan that's blowing.
Yeah, don't worry. We don't have to do we don't have to do the whole hour. So we'll just try and power through all the questions.
I spent already 8 hours here just working, so I will be fine.
Need aircon, man.
Yeah, but then aircon in the central northern Europe, that's useful for 2 to 3, maybe 4 weeks a year, kinda. And since we have a rather big apartment here, the aircon system for the whole apartment would be really kind of pricey thing.
I just obviously I've got just the one room, but I've got like a little mini one, and you know the hose. If you wrap that with tin foil and like a towel, it keeps all the hot air in the tube separate. So I've got like a little mini unit, so you can kind of like mod it so it's slightly more efficient. So that's kind of what I get up to, if that makes sense. So just aircon the room that you're working in, to make it bearable.
Yes, but then like one more week and it will be normal 20 degrees. So I think.
Yeah, but you can always you can always use it. Don't forget dehumidifying as well in those rainy seasons.
Oh, of course, no. This is running. I have the unit for this one. I have the unit.
Yeah. Right, Painless 360's here. Hello, someone famous.
Lee's
Audio
here.
geek.
Hey, Lee.
I know. I've been thinking. I can't. I've been thinking like I need to send like Lee a little thank you present, but like, what do you get the man who's got everything? Do you know what I mean? I've literally like, do I just send him an Amazon gift card or what? Like Lee, like does Lee even drink alcohol? Who knows?
I don't know. Let's ask him. Lee, do you drink alcohol?
Yeah, like what is like something you wouldn't mind receiving them in post? Like, so is there a place to check which flight controller can run Inav? Is that on the GitHub release page?
Please repeat because I don't think I got the.
Is there a place to check which flight controller can run Inav?
It's relatively simple. Just download the configurator and try to find your board in the list. This is like super simple stuff. Or check the release page because we attach the hex files for every flight controller we will release. So this is doable. But probably just downloading the configurator and trying to test flash the board with checking the board name should be fine. Probably the best way around.
So my buddy Lurgy's got a question. How do I set up motor/throttle limit, and how does it affect nav throttle so I can use 5S bats on a 4S motor?
Oh, this is slightly different topic. This is a deeper topic than that. There is a setting in the CLI which is called the throttle scale or motor scale. I never remember how it's called. I think it's throttle scale. But you just enter the amount in the you just enter the scaling factor for the throttle that goes into the mixer. This does not modify anything that's happening with the navigation engine. It's completely transparent to the navigation engine because for the navigation engine you just enter the entry throttle values for the processing, so it only limits the output that goes into the motors. However, many people think that lowering the throttle scale in Inav or in beta or anything like that will allow them to use lower rated motors with the higher rated battery, and this is unfortunately not always true because you have to understand how the ESCs are working. The ESCs are not really inverters. They are not lowering the value, and they are working with the full value provided by the battery and modulate this with the PWM. So for the very short period of time, the full 5S will go to the 4S motor. And sometimes it's not a problem, sometimes it is a problem, and much higher value than the rating causes the problem of much more torque generated, so the motor will not be smooth, it might be slightly more jumpy, and it might not really behave like the motor designed for the higher voltage. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Really depends on the motor and the ESC combination.
So your mileage may vary.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. That's it's quite a mad thing. Right. So next question. Tell me about your blog, Quad Me Up.
Yeah, I have this thing.
Yeah, if you can give me the little story, like how you got started, why you went down that path, and then how the hell you ended up.
I'm more or less into the internet industry since year 2000. So my history with running different web pages and internet endeavors is kinda old stuff. I started with at one point even kind of biggish web page in Poland at that time about the overclocking, modding the PCs and the PC stuff. That something that was hyped that time. Then after this idea died after like 10 years of running, I kind of was running and I developed as well my own internet games. So I was really like always in the internet. And when I also have some web pages in Polish, but since you cannot read Polish, you have no idea about what those are. And more or less the time when I got into the RC and the FPV, also decided maybe if I know something, I know I can write stuff, so maybe I will just start writing stuff. So this is how the Quad Me Up was created, without like aspiration of being something big. And let's be honest, it's not big because it's losing ranges constantly, mainly because I have no time to really work on that, because majority of my time is consumed by the YouTube channel. But it's there, and for example, if you want to know how to use 3 serial ports on the ESP32, then probably you will be directed to my webpage, because Google works in a mysterious way. And just currently I'm mostly only like keeping this thing alive. I do not invest anything in it, because it's just faster right now for me and have much more reach if I just record a few minutes video than spend half a day writing an article.
It was mad. I like looked back at some of the things, and then I looked, I had a quick like view back at some of your old videos and that, and you were, I don't know whether you were like following Let's Go now, but I always used to give Flight One, Race Flight, a really hard time, because I knew they were up to no good. And you were one of the first people to cover the like, yeah, look at this, the black box is exactly the same, they're ripping us off, this is bullshit. And I was like, yes.
Yeah, I'm because I'm rather, let's say, small and independent, I am not afraid to be independent in criticizing other, and because this is only some kind of the internet guy talking about some crap, I do not have to worry that I will lose sponsorship, because I'm honest, because I have no sponsor. So this is kind of relatively simple stuff. Probably got some enemies, and I bet that Flight One or anyone like that will never like be my colleague, and the ZOHD will absolutely never send me anything ever, because we have like history. On the other hand, I, for example, have to say that when the Butterfly was created, I was like also like criticizing. I don't want to say criticizing, but less calling them that maybe they not everything they are doing is fine. However, when this project died and now the Emu Flight is created, I'm really I really have good relations with the guys that are currently creating Emu Flight, and previously some of them were working for the Butterfly. So it's not that me against someone is for life. We always can change and come together.
Oh. That's good, man. It's nice to see that like everything kind of works out at the end. At the end of the day, it all helps build the hobby, and as long as we can all move forward, that's the main thing.
Definitely. And on the other hand, there are some people that are definitely on my no business list, and they will stay there for life, because I have such a list. It's short, it's growing, and if you land on this list, it's really for life.
Oh no. Yeah, we've got a twat list, don't worry. We've got like a bell end list of people that will never come on, and we've upset a few people as well, so it happens. But
yeah, I think the modern community is upsets too easily.
Yeah,
like you are afraid to say anything because somebody else might get offended. And it's interesting for people that grew up on I don't know Happy Tree Family.
Yeah,
or all that cartoons. Simpsons or
Ren and
South Park.
Stimpy.
Come on, and we are offended about everything. That's kind of
crazy. I know. And don't forget South Park as well.
Oh, definitely.
Like all the snowflakes. No snowflakes here. Okay. What is your favorite model?
Airplane.
Yeah, not wing, because I'm literally about to ask you next. What is your favorite wing?
My favorite is the mini drag.
The mini drag.
Mini drag, by all means, it's the best.
Model and wing.
Yeah. I do like wings because they are shorter than not wings. They are kind of easier to transport. But no, definitely the mini drag is the best one. I have one over there. It's in its usual place. I'm maybe not flying this very often, at least this year, but it's there. It's ready to take off whenever I want. And because you can convert this to the more traditional with the boom version when you have the tail, it's like both.
Cool. What's it got in it? The components, like your flight controller and stuff. Can you remember?
What's the setup in my mini drag?
Yeah, just off the top of your head.
Right now, I think it's the Maytag F722 wing, definitely. ESC, I just got something like for the X class because it's so easy to buy the ESCs for the X class. 60 amp iFlight something. I don't remember the name. And the motor is Sunny Sky 22 something 1400 kVs. I think this is the current setup. Yeah.
Nice. It's probably 1400, 1500.
1400 something like that with the LiPo. I fly with the 4 amp hours for us, so it's more or less this range, because I also have 2 cameras in the nose, so it's rather heavy.
Big boy. So favorite quad.
Okay, now we have to go into the bragging about my own crap. What do I have over here? This one, definitely this one, because when we are talking about the 7 inches, I am really fly a lot with 7 inches. So this is my Pirx 5. No, this is Pirx 7, something I designed the last year. And for me, this is really my ultimate 7-inch quad. Can do everything in the air, flies amazing, does not break haven't broke even once, so it's really like pretty cool, and I made it. Well, I haven't cut the carbon, but I designed it.
Nice. Check you out, boy. Hang on, I think we got another question. How is CPU usage compared to Betafly? Is Inav heavier or lighter on the CPU, or about the same?
That's one more time. This is slightly more complicated topic. As long, but we have to understand that deep down the Inav and Betaflight is basically the same. This is basically the same. There are differences, but the internal architecture is basically the same because we both originated from the same clean flight like 4 years ago. Also, it all depends what you are running, because if you only want to run the same subset of functions of Betaflight offers, so gyro, maybe accelerometer, only the PID loop without any navigation, then very similar set of functions will more or less run on Inav. Probably the CPU usage will be slightly smaller on the beta flight because they, for example, never really do any updates on the artificial horizon. Why the Inav does the updates on the artificial horizon, even though you do not have the GPS. However, you can run 8K loop on the Inav and you can run 8K loop on the beta flight. The problem starts to get slightly more complex when you start adding sensors. And especially the magnetometer is the pain in the ass, not because it's so computational heavy, but because the I2C bus, the implementation, the driver for the I2C bus, both projects have, by the way, is blocking the CPU. It's fully synchronous. So when the CPU is getting data from the magnetometer, it's only getting data from the magnetometer. It cannot do anything else. On the other hand, running everything on Inav on the F7 is fully possible on the 4K mode with full-blown navigation. Everything, all the functions you can have, even running the opflow, running this on the 4K mode is there. And to be honest, there will be in a few weeks a video when I compare what's the difference of the flight performance when you go with the 8K to 4K to 2K to 1K. And guess what? There's almost no difference between 8K and 4K. But this is like,
It's weird though, because the configurator says run 8K if you can.
No, it doesn't say that.
I'm sure it does.
Higher. It says go higher if you can. Yes, but not to go to 8K. No, with modern, with the current version, 8K and having anything connected to the as a GPS or a magnetometer is rather impossible. I mean, it will run, but the loop time will be so erratic that there will be some problems happening, motor stopping in the meantime, while it's fully possible to have everything running with a full-blown sensor set at the 4K mode.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Does running an optical flow sensor make much difference?
It's with this, because to be honest, the computation for the flow sensor is not that complicated. No, because a lot of magic is happening inside the flow sensor itself.
Okay.
Probably the 4K. No, on this F7, the 4K mode with the upflow sensor should be 100% doable with no problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the biggest problem is running the hardware and especially magnetometer and barometer connected via I2C, because only this task takes like 150 microseconds, so it's kind of a lot.
Okay, cool. Optical flow sensor. Yes, Frank. Optical flow sensor.
Yes, optical flow sensor.
Lurgy asks, what plane should I get next for longish range? Not a Drac, because I don't like spending money. And I want to use my 4005S batteries I already have.
How about Sonic model binary?
Okay.
That's something. If the size and the fact that it's really like big, it's not a problem, then the binary might be amazing option. And two motors give you the redundancy in case of something happens with one of the motors, and there's plenty of thrust when you need it, and should have enough lift to put as many lipos as you want on it, and really fly. Oh, by the way, not by the way, a lot of people love the mini Talon for the long ranging. Maybe this is also an option. But then the mini Talon is even bigger. It's really like, it's not mini. Definitely not a mini.
Afternoon. Audio Geek said just started flying long range, thinking about Inav. If you can, I think is it? Do you still recommend the F405 Maytech board? Like if you get one of those, it's a safe bet.
405, 722, 745. Maytech or Holybro. Those are my personal recommendations. And recently, the HGLRC also started to make a nice hardware. There are no functional really differences between F7 and 47 because there are no much functional differences besides the fact that F7 has inverters and just connect F port, smart ports, S-bus, inverted, non-inverted to anything you want, and this is a plus. Force cannot do it, but anything from Maytech is probably a good choice. And there is a reason that 7 out of 10 most popular boards in Inav are manufactured by Maytech. 7 out of 10,
Wow.
including place 1, 2, and 3, are everything Maytech. One, maybe they just do a good marketing by sending a lot of samples to developers without asking questions. But no, just the quality of the boards is, well, it's solid. If you buy the hardware, you know that it's not counterfeit. It's not some cheapest Banggood clone of a clone of a clone, and the LDO will burn in no time. You just you have to spend a few bucks more on the Maytech board, but then you have it. You kind of have confidence that it will be just working no matter what's happening.
Yeah. And then also support's really good for them. You cover a lot of stuff. Painless has got a lot of setups. Painless
Yes,
360.
definitely. And if you go to the Maytech website, then they have the wiring instructions.
Beautiful
for
wiring diagrams.
So this is really like super helpful. You do not have to guess what you connect where. And if you are relatively new to the hobby, you do not know that, okay, I can connect everything to anything. And you think, okay, but always the receiver has to be the serial one. You go there, you have an example how to wire almost everything. And this is really like the super nice selling feature. And I think that the Maytech just prove to the customers that they are making the good hardware, not the perfect hardware. I do honestly have to say that not everything that Maytech does is perfect. Over the last few years, I got a few boards from them that were not working or were broken or had to replace them. Either samples, pre-production samples, but then it's just simpler that something is not working. But even some of the boards I got for my own money were damaged. Still, better quality ratio than a lot of other manufacturers.
Numbskull asks, have you flown your 7-inch Banggood yet?
Yes, and I hate it.
Really? Hang on.
Honestly, I hate it. There is something wrong with this frame. I have no idea what is wrong with the frame. I replaced the propellers, I replaced the motors, I then replace the motors again to a completely different set, and I just don't like how it flies. It's bloody heavy, and with every set of motors and propeller, it's catching the frame resonance and more or less 80% of the throttle. And even the GoPro 8 footage is like jellish. So there is something wrong with the frame. I haven't recorded the review of the frame yet because it's too late, because I ordered it almost a year ago. Then this coronavirus debacle, I built it only like a few months ago. It's kind of too late to make a review of the Banggood, but I don't like it. I was maybe flying this maybe 4 or 5 times, and it's there. The one with the blue top, no, down right corner is the Banggood, and I think I will have to sell it.
Oh,
scrap it.
Curry Kitten asks, can I run Inav rover without a compass?
No.
I could read the docs, but it would more involve effort than asking.
Sorry, mate, you cannot, and the reason is simple. Rovers can drive so slowly that the GPS will not be able to provide course over the ground, and they can stop. And if anything can stop, there is no course over the ground, and the dead reckoning is unfortunately not precise enough to cover the possible gaps. So the compass is required, at least now, and probably also in the future.
Hang on. Okay, no worries. How Never a fan of Maytech. Give them a second chance. The market share is Maytech. Can you tell? I think Frank's asking, how can you tell?
I have access to the configurator, Inav configurator analytics, because it's ours as well, so I have the access to it, and also the API of the GitHub allows you to get the information how many times each target file was downloaded. So you can just aggregate the data, run it through some kind of the script, and know how many times each release, each target hex was downloaded. And because configurator during flashing always download this file from the GitHub, you know how many times the target was flashed, more or less.
Oh my god! Unless you've got Maytech users not as smart and they need to download it several times.
Yes, still, but this is kind of gives some kind of the information about the scale, and even if this is off by a few dozen even percent, it's not that few. Okay, the downloads are off. It's kind of probable that it's affecting really every target, not only Maytech targets. So I think that we know pretty exactly how many times how many users use which hardware, although we have no idea how many Inav users there are. This is something we absolutely do not know because we are unable to match this. But we know how many users use Inav configurator every day, for example, or every minute.
Wow. Is there a 4G option, Frank asks, for Inav? Could I drive a rover to Jack's? Are you working on it?
Not out of the box, but if you hack yourself something with the GSM modem or something like that and be able to convert this to any of the input protocols that Inav supports, like, for example, SBus or anything like that, come on, you can always try.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Shady. Nice to see you here. Is there a resonance or flutter? What do you mean, Frank? I don't know. So I had a buddy who run the F4 omnibus, and he had that restart glitch. If you remember, it was a very long time ago. But I'm just saying, Maytech's pretty good compared to what it was. Flying along, just disarmed, rebooted, straight into the ground.
Yeah, the reboot.
Killed a GoPro Hero 4. Wow.
Unfortunately, this is only the hardware, and like I'm saying this on the multiple occasions, we are really using the cheapest crap there is. Because I know that some people would like to compare the quality of the hardware we are using with something that's in the real life avionics. But please do not. We are using CPUs that cost like few bucks per unit on the board that was designed by some guy named Lee in an hour or two somewhere. No offense to anyone, but this is the reality. It was never tested, never EM tested, RF tested for any kind of interferences, and then you put some cheap voltage stabilization on that without the checking the thermal characteristic, if this overheat, not overheat, put it in the foam. That's like, and then we do not always know how to correctly solder anything, and just put it in the kilometers into the air. Those things just have to fall off the sky. This is not the quality of the real avionics, real airplanes, or if you can build a full-blown airplane for like $500 or 500 quid, or no, that's expensive one, even, let's be honest. And imagine that how much the real airplane costs. Even if you scale up the foam, you will know that no, there is a gap of the quality, and they will just restart in flight. Mm-hmm. There is a reason why the military drones cost like hundreds, thousands of quids per unit.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even with Vernon, he was doing like RF testing for his little mini. The fact that he's even done that whereas what we use that hasn't even seen that. I don't even think we got CE marks, have we? Like lead solder.
No, absolutely we don't. But
yeah. Right. Boohoo. Another compass needed. I can. Curry, I might be able to sort you out, mate. Are you gonna? Let's just check because there's loads of questions coming in. What are the absolute best servos? Buddy of mine flies a wing and says servos always fail.
I honestly have no idea what are the best servos.
The high tech servos, I think are really good. Hang on a minute. These are analog servos, and they're pretty bulletproof. Hang on, where are they?
I had set of expensive Servos 1, and they both died without any reason.
Jesus. Yeah, the high tech HS 65 MG servos are pretty good. They're a 9-gram servo. These are analog, and they were recommended at the SMC, the local hobby shop that I used to go to before the old Corona. And then if you want something digital, I guess Bluebird, which were the ones that David used, David Winterstall, for the tail copter and stuff. He had the, what are they, Bluebird 2010, I think. I don't know, but they were used on the tail boom of the Bluebirds 2010 DHM, and they're quite short. These are,
one more time, if you compare the price of the cheap servo and the good servo, then you will see that.
Yeah.
If you only put a good servo on your airplane, the price of the airplane can
really get out of control.
Twice. Because that's the reality. On the other hand, I have to say that I'm running quite a lot of the Emax servos, and they had 0 failures so far. I also have quite a lot of those MG90 brownish, and they are also surprisingly well. I have not lost a single one, at least on an aeroplane. On anything else, they one hit on something and they just disintegrate.
Yeah, the flight tests have pretty much gone over to Emax servos, and they seem to be pretty good.
Also, the quality control of the Emax servos is not the best. For one of the flying wings, I think it's the one that's over there. I'm not sure you can see it. Yeah. I got me a nice set of the Emax servos, even not from China. I I will get me better servos. And what? Yeah, of course, the one was dead on arrival.
Oh man. Let's just check. Yes, autonomous racing. They just have to fall out the sky. Haval 2020. Someone's quoted you. Sausage rat liquor central. Yo, that's cool. Right, I think Bluebirds are very fancy. How is the Red Cruiser?
The Red Cruiser was decommissioned a few years ago. It was amazing. It was amazing. But no, the original Red Cruiser was decommissioned before the airplane you think that is the Red Cruiser, because they are different airplanes.
Okay. Oh, stop it. Hurts my brain.
No, I decommissioned all of my home-built Depron airplanes some time ago. I never wanted really to play with building my own airfoils, and I just don't have time to play with that kind of crap. And although really the Marabou Stork and the Red Cruiser was incredibly stable in the air, but also they were kind of biggish airplanes with the KMF 2, I think, airfoil. There was always a problem of there being kind of bulky, and yeah, the Depron needs a lot of carbon really to hold in place. So this is out of my future endeavors. I'm not definitely not building anything like that. It was fun though.
No worries. Next question: what made you want to work on Inav?
I honestly do not remember how it all started.
Did Constantine put like a little box out and there was like a GPS compass, and you went?
I remember that when clean flight was still a thing, I wanted to make clean flight do a position hold. It was always constantly failing, never working. It was just a nightmare. I remember that I somewhere read, I think on the RC groups, that there is this new project that brings something, and I just, okay, cool, great, fantastic. Maybe I will give it a try. I don't remember if I even tried this, but then I read somewhere that also Konstantin wrote a new PID controller for this, what evolved into the Inav. And for the Quad Me Up, I reached to Konstantin to have something, an interview with him. And he answered all my questions. I flashed this thing. Yeah, okay, maybe then I will try to use the GPS possibilities. Oh, it's working out of the box. Amazing! What an amazing piece of engineering is there. It was definitely before the 1.0 release of Inav. And then one to the other, because I'm a software engineer by education and everything. I'm just a software developer. Maybe I can do something with it. Maybe I can improve it, and then one thing led to another. And look what I'm doing. I'm developing Inav and those kind of things all the time.
Okay. Yeah, because I can't remember. Do you want me to have a little look? See when I spoke to let's drone out Inav. Nope. Who knows? Videos search Inav.
In my case, it was 2016, I think, beginning of 2016. Well, you can always go to the GitHub in my case and see where I made the first commit into the Inav repository, because everything is there. Everything is public. And if I
Can't Constantine. That's my problem.
Contributors, then in my case, yeah, beginning of 2016.
Yeah,
if we
I think
go
that's
the history of merge requests, we can also find out what was the first code I developed for that. I don't remember now already.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, damn it!
I know what I did first. I just go back with the history, and the first things I was working on were the OLED displays. I started working with those. I decided that the original implementation was crap, the changing screens that never give you all the information you want, so I just started to improve this. So this is how I got into Inav.
Yeah, I'm just having I just can't seem to find the bit where I had with Inav. I did chat to Constantine a while ago. It was a very, very long time ago. But yeah, I can't seem to find it. But I remember I was like one of the very, very early sort of adopters of Inav, and I really supported it. But I pulled out. It's one of my questions for like later on. I've got an old multi-Wii board. I don't know whether you had any. What is your oldest gear? What is your oldest piece of gear? That is one of the questions. Huh?
Still in use, or just something that I have somewhere?
No, legacy sort of. whatever. I mean, these are the old. Look, that's a Naze Rev 5 full and light.
I never had any Naze. I was always using Flip 332. I still have at least one of those, not on me, but I think really the oldest gear I have is one of the Lipos.
No way.
Wait.
That is one of the older questions.
Yes, this one.
Oh
this
my
one.
God.
It has a number 03. That was the third lipo I bought, and I had to buy it in 2015. I still have it. I have no idea if it's running, but it's not swelled too much, so probably I can even maybe charge one lipo or two out of this baby. Her older sisters were decommissioned, but she survived.
So if you know when you're done with that, if you cut the label off on the inside on Tenergy batteries, hang on, I've got one here. I think, yeah, on the Tenergy batteries, you've got now TGY 2014. So this is one of my original batteries, and yeah, and the 14.
I'm really impressed about the Turnigy batteries. I know that nowadays people are Turnigy. What the hell is Turnigy? I, however, really have to say that for the price they were sold back then, the quality of some of those is really like amazing.
Yeah.
I remember that I only had to dispose the 1.5 amp hour 4S nanotech like early this year, after 4 years of really like serious beating. It was swollen up, but it was still possible to fly with this thing.
Question: has anyone had in the Inav clan, as in group of people, had their hands on the Immersion RC Ghost yet?
No. I will be probably the first one because I pre-ordered.
Okay, no worries.
We, however, are very familiar with the technology because 2 years ago, majority of the Inav developers were building their own long-range radio systems. Yes, really. That's where Konstantin made his one. Alberto, he goes by the nickname of Fiam, and me. We built 3 different radio systems using basically the same technology, the same hardware, almost that the R9 and the Crossfire uses. Konstantin did it with the STM32 driving the software layer. Alberto did it with the ESP32. I did it with Atmegas. I still have mine. Yes, I still have mine. I still can put it on something and fly with it. Maybe not the best idea, but we in the Inav world are familiar with what this family of chipsets can offer to the users. And I know that I said it already at least a few times. This actually is the future of the radio control. And not because it's better than the Crossfire, but because it's better than the current generation of 2.4 gigahertz. And something that a lot of people do not understand, that the Ghost is not really a competition in terms who has the longest range with the Crossfire. The direct competition for the Ghost are all the other 2.4 gigahertz radio systems, because it's as fast as those and offers much longer ranges. Crossfire will always have longer theoretical range than the Ghost, only because it has the stronger power amplifier and only because it's running on the lower frequency. However, the Crossfire and the Dragon Link, we have to put them in the same. For the majority of the users, is just an overkill. Nobody, and I mean nobody, I say 99.9% of the users are not really using all the possibilities, all the range that Crossfire offers. Majority of the users of the Crossfire use it to fly up to 1 kilometer. And up to 1 kilometer, the XJT module from the FreeSky works just fine. The only advantage of using the Crossfire on such a short ranges is that you can fly into a forest and come out. This is the only advantage.
Yeah. Well, as long as your video can get through the.
Yeah, as long. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, if someone thinks that the Ghost will give him a better range than Crossfire, not. However, the first thing that will die is the video feed, not the radio link, because it just has to die first. You will not be able to see where you are flying with it. Yeah. And the direct competition for the Ghost is not really the Crossfire. And for 99% of the pilots, the systems like Ghost might be just better suited because they have more bandwidth. You can put more telemetry through them. I know maybe it's not this generation, but it's possible to. And also other nice features, like for example, this is not. When I will have my Ghost, I will know. Depending on which chipset they used to build the Ghost, it's either an SX1280 or SX1281. I know the numbers. Then even there might have a pretty awesome feature to get the range to your quad without any kind of telemetry. Because those chipset, the 1280, has the possibility to do the ranging. And so you just fall somewhere and you have no GPS and the buzzer is not working and you are able to see on the LCD of your radio, okay, you are 25 meters from your quad. Now you are 20 meters from your quad. So that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So the future definitely is with the 2.4 gigahertz. And another reason for that is that all the upcoming regulations like 250 grams and so on means that putting a full-blown Crossfire antenna on the sub-250 UAV is kind of like how this thing should be positioned. You position this vertically and it looks stupid. You position this horizontally, then you lose all the advantages of the long-range ring. How this is supposed to work in a reasonable way? While with the 2.4, you have just shorter fucking antennas.
Yeah, the antennas are way shorter.
Yes, definitely. The antennas are just around 3 times shorter.
And the receiver, they've got it down to a centimeter by centimeter.
Yes.
10 mil.
More or less the size of the RXSR, maybe something. Without this huge antenna. Because please tell me how you are supposed to install a Immortal T on the 3-inch toothpick.
You can't. Oh no, I'm all out of focus. Yeah, it really.
You have Logitech? Logitech camera?
Yeah.
Same.
Yes. Sorry, Logitech? No. Yes, I do. Yeah, because that's totally thrown me now. No, it's gone. Don't worry. Damn it! I forgot what I was going to say. We are so behind on questions, man. What else is there? Any new developments with Inav that's coming up? What are you working on? Can you say? Can you?
Yes. 2.6 Inav 2.6 will actually have quite a lot of new things. For example, there will be something called safety zones. Well, maybe I'm off with the naming. It's basically the feature that allows you to perform return to home, not in the place when you took off. Because, for example, you know that where you are taking off, it's not a good place to land because there are stuff. You can define a set of safety zones, and during the takeoff, Inav will remember which is the closest safety zone, and when doing return to home, it will land in this place, not where it started. So for quads, maybe not so awesome, but for the airplanes, kind of useful because airplanes is just landing by circling and going down. So if you are close to some trees and do not want to land on the tree, you just define this thing. This thing stays in the memory. So after restart, it's still there, and you can define the whole series of those. So this is a nice one. I'm not sure that if any of the viewers are using the programming framework. Local conditions, there will be a lot of changes over there. The multi-rotor performance of the Inav 2.6 will be like completely of a different league than Inav 2.5, which was pretty good. Because we will be using the Kalman filter, and the Kalman filter for gyro is just amazing. The cool name of the unicorn filter, because why try to call something Kalman when you can call it a unicorn? And what else? Made really a lot of smaller stuff, smaller improvements.
Quality of life.
The link quality for the Crossfire will be displayed in the OSD, and the support for the
last.
yeah. At last, finally, some users with the Crossfire and some basic development knowledge decided, okay, yeah, I will implement it in the Inav, and bloody hell, it will be there. So we're gonna probably have this one, and what else? Oh, new flight controllers are coming to Inav. H7 series is coming to Inav, and Matek is releasing the brand new H7, which will be called H743 Wing. I have samples somewhere. I'm not sure if on me or not on me, but I have the samples. I even recorded a video about this thing. I had the samples, and this thing is really amazing. I can show it before the premiere of bloody. Oh,
Let me know. I don't know whether that's my wind noise or yours.
Probably it's mine, because I really have to have some. So this is the brand new. Oh, come on, Matek H743 Wing.
They all look the same.
Yeah, they all look the same, but this one is different because, for example, if you try to search for the USB port on this one, you will not find it.
External.
Yes, USB is on this thing. Also with the integrated buzzer, you can switch off with a switch. Amazing! Come on, why why only now? And this thing can run the whole new variety of sensors connected with the CAN bus and other magical thingies. But unfortunately, the Inav target for this thing is not yet ready. But you can use it with Arduino Pilot.
Sadly enough, right, as much as I hate to admit it, I am that guy who I added, I don't know whether you can see, but I added a switch to turn off the VTX so it doesn't fry within the foam.
Yeah.
So, right. As you bury your VTX in foam and it's on high power, and it's slowly...
The access in foam is probably never a good idea. I'm trying to avoid that because on the best case scenario, it will just stop transmitting until it cools down, and the worst case scenario, it will just release the magic smoke.
Right, so we've got... Yeah, I remember what I was going to say is it bugs the living crap out of me, people who horizontally put immortal T's on stuff. It's so bad. Or, like, and they stick it... they stick it where there's like motor wires and everything, and I'm like,
I do it on my racers. I just do it because on the racers
you've got no choice.
I do not expect to fly somewhere far away, and there's still this gain of you can go into the woods even if you're horizontally installed the antenna. But long range with the horizontally installed antenna, come on, this is like one of the most absurd ideas in the history of the RC hobby.
So this isn't really a question, it's more of a statement. Now you're friends with Painless 360, I hear.
Of course! We are buddies.
Yeah,
I'm helping him, he's helping me. It's a great relationship.
Yes, it is. It is brilliant. Next question. 1.3 video. Do you want to? Can you talk about that or not? Or
Yeah, but I 1.3 gigahertz video makes sense only if you want to fly above 5 kilometers, 5 miles, something like that.
yeah.
If,
Does it affect your GPS signal?
of course.
No.
Yes, it affects your GPS. It will have the correlation and the jamming effect on your crossfire link. So if you really want to fly far away, and by far away I really mean above the 5-10 kilometers, so let's say 3-7 miles, something like that, then yes, it might make sense to go into 1.3. But currently the VTXs on the 5.8 gigahertz are so good, and you can always stick your DJI digital amazing quality on everything, which is also 5.8 gigahertz. And really, like 99.9% of the pilots never flew further than 2 kilometers away. So why to invest in the 1.2 gigahertz? Why? Give me a reason, a good reason to do it.
Okay. 1.3 is good when flying with your friend who refuses to turn down their 5.8 power.
Then maybe you should not be friends with him.
Or them. Yes. Okay. So do you recommend 2. Have you ever done any flying with 2.4 then?
Yes.
Any good?
No, 2.4, no. 2.4, no. The problem with 2.4 is that there is really very little hardware right now on the market. There is, to be honest, absolutely nothing. There is the 2.4 from Furious FPV, but I have no idea if they are still producing that. There was always
Fat Shark used to.
Yeah, but this thing like died, and there is no smart audio. There is no any other way of communicating with the VTXs. So let's say this was an experiment that probably died, and I see, to be honest, no reason why to try to resurrect it. Because if you really want to fly far away, then you have 1.3 gigs and all the problems that come with that. But if you are willing to solve those problems, then you have just the range. And for just the normal flying, casual flying, you have 5.8 gigahertz, and this really satisfies everything you need really to fly.
So this is a bit of a sort of like test bench tools. I have over my many years of like fixing stuff, I've got test bench tools. So you've got like, connectors that change different things into video and then programming cards and stuff like that. I wondered if you've got anything like that you've made, or you have motors with crocodile clips on them to test ESC.
This one I do not have. I have something else. Every time I'm testing something that's even remotely flight controller related, I have a test bench for testing software.
Oh my god, you've got to cover that. Why have you covered that in a...
I think I showed this one of live streams. It has almost everything. It has the GPS, it has the VTX. I can connect the 4S to power everything up. I can disconnect the GPS with the jumpers over here. It has the flight controller and the new board, to which this board on top is something that will also show up in the Inav 2.6. Instead of the motors, I have the monitors that monitor the outputs of the motors and the servo and just display the throttle value on each of the motors. And something else I'm working on, the radio beacon for the Inav. So I have this thing. And every time I have to test anything with the software, I just flash it over here and I have everything covered. Tools. Yeah, of course I have tools.
Yeah, no, it's very.
For example, a lot of wires with the ST-Link. Here somewhere I should have SALA logic analyzer if I want to see what's happening on any of the buses. Here I have small packet oscilloscope, which kind of sucks, but if you just want to check one one line, it's working perfectly. But because I'm living kind of in two places, because right now I'm talking to you from Poland, but I usually work from Berlin, and I do have apartment / workshop / just the sleeping place when I'm working in Berlin. I have much more equipment over there. I have full-blown oscilloscope, signal analyzer, and PSU, and the second PSU, and really almost a full workshop that allows me to work on almost anything I want in electronics. But if it has electronics, I can text whatever you want.
What brand of soldering iron do you use?
Chinesium.
Chinesium.
Chinesium. It's if you go to the AliExpress and look for 936, I think. Just 936 soldering iron. They are surprisingly good as long as you get yourself good soldering tips. The heater is just a heater. It's a plastic. It breaks. I already had to replace the
handle.
The thing that you hold in your hand, at least for a few times. But for the price, this is useful. And I only make this difference that I buy good soldering tips that are not just corroding while you solder, and everything is great with them.
Yeah, no. Tell a lot about a man from this tip. Laser cutting and wing launching from a quad.
Yes.
When's that coming out?
The problem with my laser cutting equipment is that it said 20 watts. That they would never said is that the 20 watts of the input power, not 20 watts on the optical output power.
Okay. I think I get what's going on here.
So it's possible. I do have the laser cutter that allows me to cut through carton board or paper, also cutting through the plywood, even 3mm plywood. Is somehow complicated. It's not happening on the instantaneous go. You have to go through the same path at least 3 times, and then usually it's working fine. So I'm rather not doing that very often. And the catapult for the glider is kind of right now almost on hold because I launched the glider from the catapult and I had no time to build a better glider with the FPV. So maybe I still have the catapult, although I do not have the quad that I used to launch it because I just sold it. But then I do have the catapult.
Yeah. So basically, what's going on is he built a catapult to stick on a quad that would carry a wing and then fire a glider from a quad. So instead of being towed up, you just get lifted up by a quad with wings. You fly up, and then the quad shoots your glider.
This is the catapult. The catapult sits on the quad and it's connected. It's triggered by the servo. You just connect this to the servo output of the flight controller. You can adjust the elevation, but it's now locked in this position. There is a rubber. You install the glider over here. There is a sear. You just lock it in place. You take off, fly wherever you want, flip the switch on the radio, and then the sear drops and everything is ejected on this side. Kinda works.
That is mad, isn't it? Sounds like good fun. Oh man, hang on. Oh, right. Any tips for flying over water?
Yes, do not.
If your workbench exploded, what would be the first 3 tools you would replace?
My laptop.
Yep.
Because the laptop is usually very close to the workbench, so I really would have to replace it ASAP. Second, definitely a soldering iron. And the third one, a set of good screwdrivers. No.
Oh, you fucking savage.
wait. You can solder, but you have to solder, but only sometimes you have to check the voltages and stuff. So this would be, let's say, a second batch of purchases.
Oh man, the older look is better than the newer. Yeah, we could race. We could race rovers if we have the same waypoint and mission loader. And just making sure. Is Inav for quads, flash and fly? I've only used it on wing so far.
What?
Mr.
Flash
Shady. Yeah,
fly?
flash and fly. Is it pretty? I think he's asking, is it pretty simple? Can you just flash it and fly it, or
you have to set up at least a few things like modes and outputs and stuff like that? But if you do not want to use the GPS, and the magnetometer, especially magnetometer, which just requires extra calibration, then the process is only slightly more complicated than in case of the beta flight. Yes, there are some extra steps you have to take to ensure that everything is there and is there, but it's not that it's like taking you nobody knows how much more time. Yes, extra steps, because for example the accelerometer calibration has to be a 6-step, not only the 1 step. But defaults are there, the modes working just like in the beta flight. The motor output, the mixer. Okay, you have to load the mixer because we ship Inav without the mixer loaded, because we don't know if you're gonna fly it with the flying wing on the quad or anything like that. OSD setup basically the same. We do have, however, much more elements for the OSD, and everything else almost the same. Maybe the positions in the one huge advantage: you do not have to install, you do not have to set up any VTX tables, because we have VTX support without the VTX tables. So you just connect the VTX and it just works, and you do not have to worry which exactly version of the VTX tables you have to upload to the.
What is the deal with that? Is that a legality thing of the reason why they've done that, or are they running out of room?
Honestly, the main argument that Betaflight was raising is that they had to do it because of the legality. However, I really do not think that it's really the case over here, because it's just like the manufacturer of a knife. You have a knife, and you sold the knife to someone, and then this person used the knife to stab someone in the back. So who's responsible for the action? The manufacturer of the knife, or the one that stabbed? Betaflight is not manufacturing, distributing, selling, or maintaining any kind of the VTXs. Betaflight, anything that offers is the option to change the channel, power, and the band, basically the frequency of the VTX. However, if you buy, for example, locked VTX from the TBS, you have the illegal frequencies and powers locked. And even if you connect this thing to the Betaflight, you still cannot use the locked frequencies and powers. You have to manually unlock it to be able to change it from the Betaflight. So this is the argument. The other argument is that with the VTX tables, you can make your own subset of the frequencies. Then is it really an argument? Hard to tell, because usually we'll set the air band and then just channels, and this is our subset of the frequencies. And the only real reason for this to make sense is that because of the Smart Audio 2.1 is operating when setting the power, not with the power level, but with actual frequency, you can set the labels for the frequencies on the different VTXs, because different VTXs have different powers assigned to different power levels. So you know that if you set the label 750, it's really 750. Is it that important? Kinda depends. a guy that ported Smart Audio 2.1 to Inav, even ported the full VTX tables, but we on the development had the consensus that we do not want the VTX tables functionality because we do not really feel the use of this makes sense. It's extra step, extra burden during the setup of everything. Already we have extra steps that users have to make. It's not really required, and then why to have it? What's the reason? So this is the reason why we do not have the VTX tables. Many people assume that we, for a long time, had no support for Smart Audio 2.1 because we had no VTX tables. But it's not true, because now we have the VTX, we had the Smart Audio 2.1 still without the VTX tables. So.
Right. Whoever, the calibration, the flight controller, whoever put the thing that had all the different directions to say that you've done that direction, you now need to do this one to that one. Thank you, whoever done that, because you used to have to calibrate it at different angles on the wiki.
This is kind of important. It's not really the order of the calibration steps is not important.
Yeah, it's whether you've done it
in any order you want. Only the first step has to do with the sensor facing up, and then you just put it like that, and on the for height, and it's done.
Yeah, but you never used to have any like visual indication on what axis you've done. It would just
I have a system. I have a system.
Okay.
I really have a system when I'm doing this. I'm just facing the quad or an airplane.
Yeah.
Flat. Then I flip out to the other side, and then I just remember which side was already setting on the bench. So like that, done. I do not even look at the order inside of the configurator.
Oh. Right. Best wing for a beginner.
Not a flying wing at all.
Okay.
The flying wings are not for the beginners. Excuse me for a second.
No worries, buddy. Any more questions, guys? Feel free to ask. And
so let me go back to the thought. Flying wings are not for the beginners because it's sometimes super hard to set the center of gravity correctly, and they can be kind of either too sensitive or hard to set up really. So for the beginners, get something with a tail. It's just much safer option. Just get yourself a Bixler and you will be like super happy. For the beginner, of course.
Will we? Do we have? I've got two questions on that. Do we have a flaps function on Inav?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, over there fully manual, but if you use the logic conditions, you can deflect any control surface you want automatically. For example, when the airspeed or the speed goes below threshold, you can just add your own mixes to the play, and yes, you can have flaps, flapero, everything you want.
Okay. Yeah. No, I haven't properly looked into it, but I didn't see like it would be lovely to have like I don't know flaps tab or something. I think
even on the beginning here, I started to record a set of mixer tutorials. I know that I did one on the flaperon, I did one on the flaps, and there I wanted to make the one about the crow breaking, but never finished.
No. That would be really good. I think that would be handy. What was my other question that I don't know? Oh, you'll probably come to me. Your GPS puck. What is the best one you recommend?
Not a GPS pack at all.
Okay.
I have to visualize. Where's my quad? Oh, there's
it over here. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in the back, between the motors.
Yeah. Okay. Which one is that?
That's the Maytag M8Q something. I never remember the name. It's just too complex. It's the best place for the GPS for the just regular flying. Because it's protected by the motors and by the arms itself, and it can only get damaged if you really like fall like that. And even if it falls like that or like that or like that, it's well protected by the propellers and by the motors. While if you have a pack, I have this thing over here with a more traditional setup like that. No matter how I will, let's say, crash this thing, this GPS will always break first. Just like that. So
Yeah.
it's not that bad, but well, that one is just better.
Yeah, I was more sort of like the functionality, or like, you know, quickest, you know, most reliable, like, you know, quickest lock, you know, U-Block 7, or yeah, most compatible.
Anything that has the U-Blocks M8 inside.
Okay.
On anything. I know that many people still fly with the M6 series, but M6 series is like, yeah. But definitely anything with M8. The Matek boards are kinda nice. However, my all-time personal favorite, when size is not the issue, is the BN 880. Just for the price, really, like it's really hard to find something better than 880.
Nice. Yeah, I there was a random question. You know, the servo refresh rate, you know, the 50 hertz, 60 or whatever. It was a long time ago when I saw it, but like, is the 50 analog and something else higher as digital? Or no? I don't. Yeah, please explain. I don't understand.
As long as you are not flying a tricopter, it makes no sense to change it. Just like that.
Yeah,
Just
no
leave it
worries.
mainly because the servos are rather slow devices, and if you compare how fast the servo can travel comparing to, for example, motors, it's really hard to compare. And even if you will put the higher refresh rate and with the good digital servos that can go up to the, let's say, 300 hertz, there will be no difference in the air of the airplanes. Just the speed of the servo itself will not be high enough, and really the resolution of the control surface that depends on the air flowing through it will not be high enough to get any yeah, I saw the question from the public chat that the good quality servos can make airplane flying better. Yes, definitely, good quality servos will make it flying better, because just there will be less rattle on the gears, and it will just have a smoother movement and more precise. Yes, sure, but you will not gain much from using the higher refresh rates on the servo itself, on the airplane. On the tricopters and other, let's say, esoteric builds, there will be an improvement, but then the good servos that can actually handle that, it's getting pricey.
No worries, man. So, have you? Last question, really. Any when you set up, say, for instance, an iNav wing that we were going to go through, but we've already gone way over time. But have you got any little settings that you change and recommend, like a multiple difference and commonly known, like, because I know the LPF, like gyro low frequency, lower it to 20. You get rid of the P's. Any like?
Not really. Since we introduced in the Inav configurator this preset window in the beginning when you just flash controller from the first time, we try to really like, okay, me mainly, but okay, I'm bragging again, to really like give the current recommended settings in one of those buttons. And if we put a new option to the firmware that just makes everything flies better, and we know that this one value makes sense on everything that is flying, then we just update this preset. And this is the reason that when you flash new version of Inav, you should always click one of those buttons and never store the full diff of the previous version. We change settings, we add settings, we remove settings, we change the scaling values, and we just make this thing fly better. It's not that, okay, now I will change this value to 5 and let's see what happens. No, somebody flies this thing before and checks how it behaves. So the most important changes specific to the platform are part of one of those buttons. And then there is the full set of the defaults, just like the defaults that we know that makes sense to have everywhere. Oh, by the way, the Inav 2.6 will change the default ESC protocol from standard PWN to one-shot 125. Finally.
Oh, praise the Lord. There is still a few of us using normal, like the TBS Cappy, like the default, it's just a normal server, normal ESC.
Yes, but on the airplanes, you can just stick with whatever protocol you have, and you will never notice any difference. Like 2 weeks ago, I did a video when I compared every single protocol on the multi-rotor, and guess what? It's the same in the air. Yeah. It's really the same.
Not as much. Yeah, waiting for the 32-bit bi-directional servos, says Andrew/Frank. There you go. Well, that's it, man. Thank you so much for letting me pick your brains and going through a load of stuff. Way longer than I expected, but yeah, man, it's always a pleasure to chat to you. And thank you so much for showing me your lovely guinea pig.
It's not mine. It's my older daughter. That's
okay.
And I lost focus again.
No,
it's a
good old Logitech.
Oh, okay, and now we have focus again. Okay, thanks, mate. Thanks.
Yep, no worries. My pleasure, man. No worries. Take care, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good evening. Take care. Bye.